The art of holding. How to hold on to your manifestation, whether it's a house, a job, a person. This is a story about a woman who ghosted herself and how she found her way back. This is not a how-to guide. It is not a love story. It is a story of remembering. At the time, this woman thought she was waiting for someone else to come back, but really she was waiting for herself. She had been grieving something deeper than a person. She had been grieving her own disappearance. May this story be a gentle space for anyone walking the complex path of reunion with others and with themselves. This is not a roadmap. This is a mirror. The ghost, the silence, the sudden disconnection, a silence so sharp it could slice. No explanation, no goodbye, just the sudden absence of a person who once filled entire days. Her nervous system spun out, then collapsed. This wasn't heartbreak. It was something colder. It felt like being erased from someone else's timeline. This was a deep abandonment wound. But the wound was not created by his absence. The wound was already there, created in childhood by an absent father, perhaps by a mother who had to travel often for work. This was a time of emotional fog, confusion, and inner collapse. What came next was grief and survival. It took weeks, maybe months, to admit he wasn't coming back. Grief came in sideways, twisting into rage, shame, disbelief. She cycled through all the stories. What did I do? What did I miss? She had to learn to live without answers. Eventually, she stopped trying to solve it, not because it made sense, but because she had to survive. So she built walls and went quiet and numbed. She eventually realized that if she continued to numb herself from this pain, that the same cycle would repeat itself over and over. Same story, different face. So she began to heal and tend to this wound, which took her years. 10 years later, Reconnection. When the message came, she didn't flinch. Her heart wasn't racing. There was no chaos. It felt like something that was always going to happen. A quiet, of course. But what came next? That's what undid her. Because holding the thing you called in is sometimes harder than waiting for it. The silence between replies, the pauses she couldn't read, the inconsistency, that's what stirred the ache. That old wound was still tender. She had just avoided throwing salt onto it. So we continue with our healing. Emotional dysregulation isn't a sign of failure. For her, it was just her body remembering what it felt like to lose something that mattered. Overanalyzing, hypervigilance, these are not flaws, but signs of being deeply human, signs of love, signs of fearing loss. Each word carried weight, each silence cracked like thunder, a delayed reply felt like rejection. She flinched at pauses. Tones became puzzles. Old patterns reappeared, dressed up as protection. The anxious parts reach for closeness. The avoidant parts pushed away. Push and pull, love and fear. It wasn't regression. It meant old wounds were rising, not to punish her, but to be finally seen, to be healed. So she had to learn how to breathe through it, how to soothe the ache without abandoning herself, how to stay steady in love, not vanish in fear. So, we continue self-regulation and find clarity, learning to breathe through the noise, naming needs clearly without manipulation or withdrawal, letting go of urgency, forgiving herself for being human, not perfect. She let go of trying to win love and started showing up as is, tender, boundaried, and whole. And this is when we start to integrate the lessons and expand. Eventually, he stopped being a symbol, not the one who left, not the one who returned, just a human. And she did too. They built slowly, talked honestly, didn't rush the bridge between their islands. She learned to stay present with her healing, not just his evolution. And this is an ongoing path, not a conclusion. Getting what she wanted wasn't the end. It was the invitation to stay open, to stay regulated, to stay kind when triggers visit again, because they may. The path of love is not always a straight line. It loops, it spirals. This path is circular, not linear. Expect revisits, not just resolutions. So maybe you know this spiral, the way old wounds dress up as new problems. The courage it takes to stay soft when you want to armor up. This is for anyone learning to love with their whole heart, scars and all. Thank you for listening. This is me checking out.